listed for sale and didn't sell, they'll tell us what not to do. And after it's all said and done, what I want to do is I want you to be able to tell me what price your home should be. Now I want to stop right there for a minute and write this down for me. You never give out a price. Write it down. You never give out a price. You never give an opinion of value. Now, you want to find out how to run a brokerage? Talk to Tim. Talk to Dave. You want to learn how to sell more houses in less time? Talk to Mark. And one of the number one things realtors do is we run around this country giving an opinion of value. Am I right or wrong? Well, what have we been trained from birth, from mom or dad, more often than dad, whenever you're meeting with a professional about stuff you need on your car, on your house, whatever the case may be, always get what? 3 prices. Am I right or wrong? And compare. Am I right or wrong? Okay? Well, don't give a price anymore, and then you don't have to be quoted against others. See, the key today, gang, is education. You educate the consumer, and when they come up with their price, they don't need to go get another price. Because their price is what? Right. Do you follow me? So you're setting yourself up for them to say, okay, it sounds good, we like you and all that stuff, but you know, we are going to get a couple of other opinions. You follow me? But more importantly than that, Mr. and Mrs., what I'd like to do is help you establish an estimate of debt on your property. Meaning how much money you're going to come out with after the transaction's completed. And you have to agree with me when I say to you that money is important to you, isn't it? Say yes. Then after we go through that, I'd like to explain to you all the forms. We have our agreement of purchase and sale. We have our listing form. We have our buyer agency. The reason I want to explain all this to you is so you make a decision based on all the facts. And then I'm sure you'll have some questions and some concerns, and we'll address them at that time if we hadn't covered it already. And I believe after we've accomplished those 6 steps, we will be in a position tonight to make a mutual decision. You will be able to decide whether you want to list your house for sale with me. And I will be able to decide whether I want to take the listing. Or let me paraphrase that for you, whether or not I can get the job done. So if you have no questions, may I start with the questions now? So that's your comfort zone dialogue, eh? So you need to master the marketing presentation, to lead it, investigate, show and sell, tie down, investigate, negotiate and close, which is get your SIGI. And then some of you are wondering what's the G stand for. Well, the G stands for after you get the signature, you need to get out quickly. There's an old saying that goes like this. Samson slew 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. 10,000 listings are killed every day with the exact same way. In other words, we talk ourselves in, and we talk ourselves what? Out. Are you guys enjoying your morning with me so far? Yes. Yeah, give Tim and Dave and your managers another round of applause. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to now take a 10-minute break, which I know you'll take 15. Okay? Then when we come back, we're going to start working on some objection handling skills. I'm going to teach you 5 specific techniques, how to get that 6% commission and a whole bunch more. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you back here in 15 minutes, guys. Give me a break. How you doing? Great! Yeah, me too. You know, I'll just touch on that very, very quickly, and that could go back to, you know, the 15 years, 16 years, whatever I played in hockey. And you know, we used to have a saying when we played hockey, we could drop the gloves out on the ice, but afterwards you should be able to have a beer or a cup of coffee or hot chocolate. And you know, it's very similar. You're going to go up against each other for listings. That's just the way it is. You go in, you get it. Great, they get it, great, but then you still have to be good competitors and leave it at the table. Are you with me on that? Yes or no? Because I'll tell you one thing I can tell you about real estate is that the most successful people are competitive by nature. And most competitors, they play the game. When the game is over, then they move on to the next game and they leave that behind and they grow from it. All right, so we've taken you down through the listing presentation. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure I get as much stuff to you as I possibly can. And the sixth point then I want us to work on is handling objections. And if there's one thing that I've tried to make clear today is that sales is a process. And if we start mastering the process, let the process handle it, not you. And you know, when we're talking about mastering handling objections, what we're really talking about is being a good closer. And you've all heard the story about the greatest salesman that ever lived. Have you ever heard that story, yes or no? Well, it goes like this. The greatest salesman that ever lived apparently worked for Gideon Bibles. And I can tell this story because I have a speech impediment, or I did have a speech impediment about the age of 15. But anyhow, the greatest story goes like this. This fella's selling more Bibles than anybody else for Gideon. I mean, he's just knocking them out of the park every week. Top salesman, top salesman, top salesman. So the manager comes to him one day and says, for tomorrow's sales meeting, I want you're going to stand up in front of the group and tell them how you're getting so many sales. The fellow goes, he says, listen, you're going to do it. So the next morning, he's at the sales meeting, the manager starts off and he says, listen, he said, I want to bring Bob up. He's our top salesman again. Bob's going to tell you how he's selling as much as what he's selling each week. He stands up in front of the group, he says, well, I go to the door, I ring the bell. They answered the door. I said to them, would you like to buy a Bible or should I read it to you? That's good. Truth is, I had a speech impediment to the age of 15. When I was a kid growing up in Toronto, my nickname was Porky Pig. And because I had a little bit of a weight issue to the age of 4, I diagnosed clinically obese. And with these ears, you know, so, and my speech impediment, of course, you know, what would the kids nickname you, right? You know, remember that? That's all, folks, but what I can tell you is this, is that they only ever did it once to me. Because it taught me how to what? Right. And the one thing I can tell you, gang, is that in the real estate business, is to be a survivor, you got to be a bit of a fighter. You got to have a bit of a thick skin. And when people start hitting you with objections, you can't fold. You can't fold. Because the greatest salespeople in the world know when they start hitting us with objections, that's when the fun really starts. That's when the challenge really starts. See, the great ones, more often than not, it's not about the money. The money comes in gobs. It's about overcoming those challenges in life. Whether it be overcoming your fear of prospecting, so you master the dialogues. Whether it's you're overcoming your fear of being strong on the listing presentation. Or, of course, when they start hitting us with objections, like I got a friend in the business, I want to interview 3 realtors. I want to wait till spring, summer, winter, fall. I want to fix it before we list. I want you to do it for less what? Commission. See, the whips would fold. But not the strong ones. The strong ones always get their full commission. And more often than not, whenever they get hit with an objection, they always follow a 6-step objection handling process. Step 1 is they don't fight it. And what I mean by that is this. You're sitting across from Crankovich at the table. The meeting's gone well, and they look at you and say, yeah, we think we'd like to list with you, but we want you to do it for 5% instead of 6%. Tell me just once you wouldn't like to reach across the table. Grab a hold of them and say, you son of a broker. Am I right or wrong? Now, I know that you would never, ever do that. But there's an old saying that goes like this, looks can what? Kill. See, it's the body expression. You're sending that message. Are you with me? So step 1 is you can't fight it. Your dialogue would be, I can appreciate how you feel. Think about this. Every time you go out to buy a new car, you want to knock something off the guy, yes or no? You want to go buy a new appliance. You're not trying to beat them down? So what's good for the goose ain't good for the... So you can't take it what? You can't take it personal. You go, I understand how you feel. Step 2 is you got to question it then. Can I ask you why? Can I ask you why you'd like to list the house at 5% instead of 6%? Can I ask you why you like to fix it before you put it on the market? Can I ask you why you want